Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to the Market Recap. I'm Dan Hodgman. It is Tuesday, May 25th. I hope you guys all had a great day. Maybe it was a day you got some chores done around the house, got outside, maybe enjoyed a little bit of a sun because these markets were quiet. Unless you're a gold trader. If you're a gold trader, broke out today. Big upside momentum as stocks kind of gave off a little bit. Really not a whole lot. Nothing to batter eyes at. It was a pretty quiet day across the board. Crude oil struggled to break through the overnight high and just kind of rolled back over, went unchanged. S&P 500, very similar. Could not make new highs. We saw it flatten out in the overnight session, and that really just kind of continued here. So a small little bit of a sell-off. Working to find maybe a little bit more fair value, attract new buyers. It is only Tuesday. We got a long week ahead of us. Same thing there applies to the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's going to look like it want to end up, I guess, just slightly, maybe a couple points up. Nothing huge there where the S&P is going to end the day down. Then you've got gold. Big breakout in the gold. Euro, once again, regular trading hours. It's quiet. We get the big move in the overnight session, and it just broke down a little bit right back to where the breakout took place, and we caught a little bit of a bounce there, and then the 10-year note. Nice move there. Good directional trade. Tough to get in, but we had a nice little breakdown right around lunchtime here today. Gave us a chance as we watch yields drop pretty tremendously today. I think down 50 basis points there. So opportunity across the board. Hope you guys were able to take advantage of it. News is relatively quiet. Have not really seen a lot come across the blotter here. I've been watching pretty closely. So that kind of has something to do with it, I think, why these markets are relatively quiet. But we are seeing a little bit of a spike in the VIX. Down day. You know, stock market goes down. You tend to see the VIX pop a little bit. When I say spike, not a whole lot. I think we went from 18.5 yesterday up to 18.8 right now. So not a whole lot. I think it peaked a little bit higher near the 19 mark. But that's about it. So let's go ahead and take a look at these charts. And it looks like the live chat is not working. Just double check here. Oh, there we go. Now I see it. Ednelson, good to see you. Level 2, Norman and Greg, good to see all of you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at these charts here and see what we got going on here today. As always, we're going to start with our crude oil market. So like we said, we opened up near those overnight lows, right? Couple things that we're keeping an eye on regularly. Overnight low, overnight high. We got settlement up above right here at 66.05. We get an overnight high right up here at 66.34. Market opens up kind of all over the place, rotates a little bit lower. We come down, we checked out the consolidation from the overnight session. Not really anything to bat my eyes at. Truthfully, I'm sitting here thinking, if this market's going low, I have more targets down below. The only thing that catches my attention is a high volume node right here at 65.45, but personally, I'm looking for it to possibly even fill this gap down below. So I'm not doing anything yet. I'm being patient. I'm waiting. Market rallies then up to overnight high. Now is where I'm looking for a chance. Now is where I'm looking for some sort of opportunity. Whether I want to go long or short here, it's a good location. We are watching overnight highs and lows pretty consistently for opportunity. And we saw the market break. Came back down, rallied right back up to that overnight high, and once again broke back down, but relatively tight range across the board. If we're looking at value area here, about $1, but it was a relatively choppy dollar. So if you didn't see anything today, totally okay. This was very difficult trade. Next, let's look at the S&P 500. So like we said, opened up near those overnight highs. Hey, how about that? We're watching these things, but really what caught my attention is since yesterday, we've really struggled to continue to make new highs. We started to make one in the overnight session. When we made it, we opened up, and instantly this market said, first thing we're always looking at, closing the gap back to settlement price. Did exactly that, closed the gap to settlement price, and moved through and continued. But for me, the opportunity I'm looking at is off the open, closing the gap to settles. Simple as that. We opened up right around 42.05. We got settlement price down here at 41.93. Nice 10-point trade that we can try and get in at and maybe risk 5 to 6 ticks to see if we can get that thing down to that 5 to 6 points, and we can maybe get that 12-point profit out of it. Remember, we're not always looking for the big, huge moves. We're not looking for this thing to come all the way down to unchecked point of control down here at 41.55. We'll make sure we mark that one on our charts. Not looking for that big of a move. That's going to take a little bit more news to hit the blotter, but really just for us to see if we can catch that short right down to settlement price and find some opportunity. All right, next, looking at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq wasn't much different here than the S&Ps. Opened up very similarly. We opened up near that overnight consolidation. We bounced just slightly right to overnight highs and broke right down to settlement price, 13,635 quarter. And that was just basically a bottom all day long. And I think that's going to be an area to keep our eyes on here tonight. If you're trading in the overnight session, let's watch this 635 quarter mark right here, 13,635 quarter. Going to continue to keep an eye on that in the overnight session. That could be a pivotal location for some opportunity to look for some directional move. All right, looking at the gold. Gold got our big breakout. So yesterday we threw this profile on here, right here at 1886.30 was that value area high. It rejected in the overnight session nicely after we bounced off the low side of that value area. Two areas we said, let's keep an eye on this one. We rallied back up, and then once this market got opened up, we started to find some momentum. You saw the yields were dipping, so treasuries are higher, equities are struggling to make a move. Finally, this 1886 broke down, and it let us through. We can look at this. I'm guessing more often than not, we were trying to probably take the short here, but we've got to be quick to react. That's why we're looking to fade these extreme levels. We're trying to look for that opportunity. Again, it doesn't have to be 86 on the nose. It could be a little bit more room. You can adjust. You can pay attention to prior swing highs. We made 1, 2, 3 lower highs. That tells us things were moving lower. It's not a bad thing that if you were trying to catch the short here, but you keep your stop tight, you get out of that one quickly, and we start to recognize volume is increasing. We have continued increase in volume. Market continues to get directional. Basic principles of volume. If volume is continuing to come in, look for that market to continue in that same direction. Did exactly that. And maybe you're trying to catch wait for that initial bigger pullback, or you're trying to get in at those pivotal levels. Maybe it happens to be right by the two prior swing highs here. Plenty of opportunity to try and catch the long and take advantage of this market. Next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Like we said, euro got directional in the overnight session. Pretty typical. Huge breakout. Opened up. Flipped right back over. So a nice drop here in the euro during regular trading hours. Came right to yesterday's regular trading hour high. Overnight consolidation. Here's where we're starting to look. Here's where we're saying, okay, this market tends to not be directional during regular trading hours. We're starting to recognize volume is thinning out. As market continues to drop, we see that volume divergence. Market's directional, volume's dying out. Look for market to rotate and turn around. We've got exactly that at a great area. Overnight consolidation, right where the breakout took place. Yesterday's swing high. Boom. Great opportunity to try and catch the reversal. Remember, we're trying to stay inside. Nothing wrong with that. Like to stay inside. That creates consistent higher probability trades. All right, and lastly, 10-year note. Well, like we've said multiple times here, yields are way down. Look for the note to accelerate higher. We opened up a little bit in some consolidation here. I mean, we're looking at a little 3-tick range that it traded in for about 4 or 5 hours last night. Broke down to the high side of yesterday's range. Didn't make it down to value area. Did not make it down to settlement price. But if we start to see it falling into that range, this is an opportunity for a trade. Notice we've got, let's see here, 1, 2 ticks to settlement price. So we were pretty darn close. we can simply look and say, if I risk 3 to 4 ticks in this trade, we've got a profit up to, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just to get near that consolidation. So we're risking 3, we're looking to make 6. Not a huge reward, not a huge risk. I get that. But we start to know this is where we're paying attention. We're continuing to look at that opportunity. If we watch that momentum, if we're paying attention to what yields are doing and everything else is doing, you watch the pop in gold take place as well. Gold and treasuries tend to, and I'm not saying this is always, but consistently, they are moving in conjunction with each other. They are technically proportional. I don't know how to have the actual stats on it right now offhand, but that's something I can look into. So those are our markets here today. Again, plenty of opportunity for some smaller stuff. We weren't getting the big, huge moves like we saw yesterday, but that's totally okay. Remember, every day we're coming in, keeping simple expectations, not looking to push it. Take things small and let the market kind of dictate what we want. So, like we said, relatively quiet on the news front. You got yields way down, 50 basis points approximately. You got the VIX kind of all over the place. We popped over 19 today just slightly, but like we said in the beginning here, slowed back down to 18.86. GameStop, though, man, that thing's back on a tear up to 209. Now, I am not your financial advisor. I am nothing but just a random guy floating around the internet here. But if you're long this from $42 after we saw the dip after the first move, you got 400% approximately in profits. I don't think it's a bad thing to lock in some profits here and try and capitalize on some of that. That's just me. If you find that, if you think that, if you're looking for it, it's not a bad place to get out. That's a pretty darn good reward. Tesla, though, down just a tiny bit here. Still floating above 600, right at 604. Our Airbnb stock, though, another down day, $133. We're $15 off where we bought it at the beginning of the year. Hey, at this point, we're going to continue to hold. That's the game plan here. We're holding this thing. We're taking these things to the end of the year just to keep an eye on them because it is fun. It's fun to track. It's fun to keep an eye on. And something different. It's just a good way to keep an eye on how that market is moving. Tomorrow, EIA petroleum status, 9:30 a.m. Central Time. So crude oil traders, keep an eye on that one. Typically, we're a little quiet leading up to it. Gets pretty volatile, and then we get back to where the market took place. Other than that, tomorrow is a relatively quiet day. And so that's what we got there. Last thing here. This date in history, 1977. I'm going to rustle some feathers here. Probably going to upset some people. But we have a meeting every morning, and we always have some sort of theme, something to make it a little bit of fun. And this morning, Jack picked the theme, and it was a hot take. The hot take was popular movies that you think is actually overrated and awful. Well, my hot take is I have tried multiple times to watch the series, Star Wars. Can't get into it. Now, I like sci-fi. I have a good time with it. Sorry, cutting me off there. I like sci-fi. I enjoy some Harry Potter, some Avatar, like it all. Game of Thrones, you name it. I enjoy a lot of it. Space, Star Trek, it's fun. It's good stuff. But Star Wars, most overrated movie series of all time. Now, I'm probably rustling some feathers there. I get it. But on this day, 1977, Star Wars opened up in theaters. I'll let you guys digest that one. Mr. Shines, Mr. Channel, good to see you. Everything at GameStop is overpriced. Why not the stock also? There you go. And then lastly, 1935, Babe Ruth hit his last ever home run at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, his 714th home run. A record for career home runs that would stand for almost 40 years. Great Bambino. If you haven't watched The Sandlot, I recommend going to give The Sandlot a watch. All right, guys, on that note, John will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time. I hope you guys all have a spectacular rest of your day. Hopefully the weather is nice where you are. I'm going to try and get outside a little bit this afternoon, enjoy some sun so long as it's holding out for us. And on that note, I'm going to sign on out of here. Have a great day. Stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.